All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Green White Checkered TV. Tonight we have the Area 51 Super Speedway SuperTruck Series here tonight at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and it is playoff time, playoff race number 1 of 4. We will be having 16 drivers going for the championship, and the way the format works is all the top 16 drivers will be resetting their points to the same amount. So in this case, we jumped everybody up to 1,000. 17th on back have their existing points that they had during the regular season, and then those top 16 will be going for the championship here, starting tonight at Atlanta, then Daytona, iRacing Super Speedway, and then the finale at Talladega. So I hope you're all having a wonderful evening. And so again, I say I am Kyle Brooks, and hope you're all having a wonderful evening. Keep a peek out to see if a Mr. Matt Wagner is going to be popping in or not. Not 100% sure. I think he may or may not be racing Indy cars, but we'll wait and see. But yeah, so what we will do is, let's say drivers making their qualifying laps as of now. So I got to do a little quick late adjusting to my our point standing so we can see that. And these are not very large, but these are the points that we'll be looking at. So let's make a little adjustment here, make it look a little prettier. Apologies for this. So I had to kind of hustle a little bit back and didn't get myself all the way ready in time. Pro streamer and all that such, but ooh, that's large. Well, we'll go with that real quick. Well, there are our top 16. Gabe Butler, Seth Groover, Cody Nagels, Richard Sanchez, Ryan Decker, Vicente Guerrero, Jason Bogart, Kevin Freese, Patrick Groover, Jacob Lee, Bud Steele, Jim Brooks, Corey Buzzkirk, Eric Laurie, Jeremy Osborne, and Nicholas Wing. All right, we will get that giant thing off the screen because that was a little bit more exciting than I was looking for. But yeah, so good evening, everybody. Yeah, so say like I said, and for those that are watching here on YouTube, you will see your favorite driver. They will be on the ticker. You'll see it highlighted in green, so you'll know exactly where your favorite drivers are, and those playoff drivers will be, like I said, highlighted in the green. Let's see if we can actually pull up an example here if that ticker works. And so yeah, so right here at the moment, you see Cody Nagels on pole position, and so you see all those names right now, those top 2 in the green. But look at Todd Merkel, not a playoff driver, but a great qualifying spot for him, currently in 3rd. Jack Wallace 4th, Eric Laurie 5th. So again, so you can see those. That's what you're going to see on the ticker up top. And then it'll be a similar look to the ticker over on the left-hand side, which we, of course, use once the race kicks off here. So be really fun to have that. And again, I got to really thank Peter DeBorgia. He did a lot of great work helping me be able to get these really nice looking overlays just to make it easier for everybody to follow along, going through it all. And so yeah, so really thankful for them. And yeah, definitely shout out to Ryan and Caitlin and family, and Jacob as well, 2 of our playoff drivers. And yeah, I got to give a big shout out because I kind of let it run under the radar a little bit, but got to give a big shout out. Import Logic, again, that's our replay sponsor. They kind of footed the bill to have their logos up on for all the replays that we've seen over the course of the season. So big thank you to Import Logic. They've been really cool. As I know they've been following some of the races as well. So big thank you to them. And of course, let's say obviously Jacob here tonight missing Hondo. Say he kind of had to do an early retirement from the season, but hope to see him in a future races, future seasons. So yeah, but it's just about time to get things rolling. So what we'll do here is we'll first kick off with our starting grid for tonight. And it is going to be Cody Nagels getting pole position. So this is where all those bonus points are going to really become important. So right there, bonus point number 1 goes to Cody. That's going to help him in that top 16 playoff. Then you got Gabe Butler next to him there in the 88. Vicente Guerrero, Richard Sanchez, Todd Merkel are top 5. Then Jack Wallace, Eric Laurie, Jacob Lee, Bud Steele, and Nick Wing are top 10. 11th and 12th, we have Jason Bogart, Ambrose Nabel, Jeremy Osborne, Corey Buzzkirk, Frank Ranger Jr., Raymond Rittenauer, Seth Groover, Ryan Decker, and then some more drivers that opted not to qualify, including Jim Brooks, Quabi Brooks, Bob Fitzgerald, Brandon Briggs, and Patrick Groover going to start shotgun, it looks like, this evening. So again, there are a lot of ways to get bonus points here tonight at Atlanta. Of course, the first one is having the pole position. Cody took care of that one. Leading a lap is also going to get you a bonus point. Leading the most laps will also get you another bonus point. There's also one for the highest climber. So for those that maybe it might be a strategy call, maybe some of those that decided to start a little further back in the field, maybe they said, hey, you know what? I'm not going to qualify. I don't think I got pole speed, but maybe I can work my way up to the front at the end and get that extra bonus point that way. And the big one is, again, a very tough one to do here, as crazy as this track race is. But if you can pull off the zero incident race, that gives you 2 bonus points. So all those things will come into play. We've seen these every season. It comes down to 1 or 2 points a lot of times between the champions. Sometimes we've even had tiebreakers. We even had to modify our points a little bit to get the tiebreaker fixed a little bit. So we'll see if hopefully it doesn't come into that. But again, you never know here with these guys the way they race. So it'll be a lot of fun to see how it all shakes out. As I think we got just about to kick off. I think we're missing one truck. I'm seeing, I think, Ray Ritt now. I haven't seen him pop in the screen yet, but I think we've got everybody else. And so again, you see that ticker up top. Again, highlighted in green are the playoff drivers. And then once we get into green, we'll switch it over to that vertical ticker so you can see all the rest of them. And again, big thank you to Peter DeBorgia. Great work that he does. And yeah, I'll say it's crazy to think that we're already kicking the playoffs off, but it's going to be fun to see. And it'll be interesting to see, too, does anybody change their strategy? Does anybody kind of push a little harder, maybe even play a little more cautious potentially? So we'll have to kind of watch that as the race unfolds. Again, we do have, I'd say, and then in the race itself, the drivers also know who the playoff contenders are. In the game, let's say they've basically modified the names so that the playoff drivers' names are in all capital letters. So that way it kind of pops up on their relatives a little bit easier for the black box that iRacing has. So definitely ways to spot things out. And teamwork is going to be important too. See which teammates maybe try to work with some of the others, even if they're not in the playoffs. Obviously, we got the brothers, the Groovers, both in the playoffs as well. So yeah, there's a lot to go for here tonight. So I was saying we're about to get it kicked off. So again, 90 laps here tonight at Atlanta. 1 fast repair, 3 green white checkered attempts should they need it. Of course, also mention that yellow line rule, drivers need to stay above that, in this case, white and red line. You'll see him duck below it a little bit to play it safe here, but we're about to go green as the green flag is out. We are down and away, 90 laps to determine our playoff round 1 winner, and we'll see how that goes in the championship. And so now you see that vertical ticker we were talking about on the left side. Again, those highlighted in green are the playoff contenders. Right off the bat, Cody gets a great start, but he jumps right in front of Gabe Butler. He tries to get that big push down the backstretch, wants to try to lead lap number 1. Now he's going to switch back to the inside line, get in front of his teammate Vicente Guerrero. We'll see if Cody can take that pole position to a lap 1 lead, and it's going to be tight. I think it's going to go to Gabe Butler. Gabe going to lead lap 1. Bonus point to that number 88 truck early, and that's, of course, what he wants to do, kind of get that one knocked out quick. And then we'll see now, do we see any strategy? Maybe drivers maybe drop a little towards the back, play it safe. And no, Gabe's going to do the same. He's going to jump up top here and pick up that draft from Rick Sanchez this time around. So a lot of drivers kind of jumping around a little bit here, changing where they want to position their trucks here. But right now, Cody, again, just a nose ahead, but he's got both these guys great pushes. And at the line, I'm going to say it looks like Gabe once more here. But we got a little separation here from the top 16 trucks to the 16th place truck of Seth Gruber. So he's dropping back just a tiny bit here, but they're still definitely within drafting range. But I think maybe just giving themselves a little bit of wiggle room, just to have a little bit of space, just in case something happens up front. Because we'll see again, the risk versus reward here is going to be interesting. On the fuel mileage side of things, hearing about 25 laps on fuel. So these trucks should have to make 3 stops here, with this being a 90-lap race. So I'd say shouldn't be any too crazy pit strategy, but man, right now though, that outside line, they are locked on the 88, the 5, and the 071. And right now the inside line, really good teammate work between Vicente and Cody. And say Vicente's just trying to stay as locked on as he can, trying to, I think, get Cody to a lap lead here. But again, the momentum shift on that outside out of 4. Once again, Gabe's going to steal that lead again here, continue to lead laps here in that 88. But And yeah, there he goes. He clears the 6. He's going to get a big push. Now I think we might see Cody jump up. We'll see which driver jumps first. Yep, there goes Cody. Cody's going to jump. And this is probably now his best opportunity to get that lap lead. And I'll say now Vicente is going to be kind of pushing that 88 here. But I think with the momentum we've seen out of 4, I think this will be now Cody's finally able to get that first lap lead here tonight. And yeah, there you go. Cody going to lead a lap here, get a second bonus point, including the pole position. And so now let's say now we have had 2 leaders so far in this race that we know for sure. Oh, a little bit of smoke there for a split second. I think from Seth Gruber. Looks like he's okay though, as he's right behind Jacob Lee. Again, a little bit of separation here now to Jim Brooks in the 19th position truck. But again, he's still safely in drafting, about 0.6 of a second off, so shouldn't be in any danger. Again, I think this is that risk versus reward. I think he's definitely playing the trying to play it safe here, but the risk taker right now seems to be the 32 of Seth Gruber. He's been really flirting with that outside wall, trying to get to the outside of Jacob Lee. Now Jacob's actually dropped to the inside line, and so I think that's going to settle them down for the moment. But yeah, so some big moves by some of these guys, and again, still very, very early, about to complete lap number 8, or sorry, start lap number 8 as Seth once again is going to go to that 3rd lane here. And I wonder if he's trying to pick up his brother here as, oh, Patrick's now 3 wide. You got the 48 of Ryan Decker just to his inside. I say, but Ryan's trying to run the middle lane too. And I say these guys are starting to get a little bit tight, but yeah, Seth right now just, he's not content to ride on the middle lane here. He wants to run that 3rd lane, and it might be one of those things, run it while the tires are a little fresher. But I think at some point, that's the concern I had. You see the 54 and the 83 involved in that first incident. Caution is out. Unfortunately, Patrick Gruber and Jack Walls, and it looked like, unfortunately, I think Patrick just got to the right rear of Jack, and from there, Jack was just kind of a passenger there. So that's caution out here tonight. First yellow of the evening, and we'll go back and take a look. But like I said, I think what we saw there was exactly what that 3rd lane, that's the risk of trying to make that 3rd lane go. So let's go back here. We'll watch here. We'll focus on Jack Walls and Patrick Gruber. And again, you can already see where the 54 is. You see where the 83 here is. And as they come out, Jack was drifting up a little bit. The 54 trying to sneak to the outside and just kind of going for the same real estate, unfortunately. And that's going to put Jack up into the outside wall. And then right there, that little kick at the end, that puts the 54 into the outside wall as well. You see the front clip sliding off there, right into the path of that 41 truck of Jeremy Osborne. But it looks like, luckily, should just be a 2-truck incident. Obviously, all the playoff drivers going to be definitely breathing a sigh of relief there. And now you see the 54 going to kind of spin it back around. So we'll jump back live. A little bit of strategy here, though. It looks like Cody Nagels is the first onto pit road. He's going to get service. Looks like right side tires for him as well as Gabe. There goes the 5 already leaving in. It looks like maybe 4 tires for both. Yep, 4 tires for Gabe as well. You see a few 2 and fuel only as they're getting around him. But we had a handful of drivers stay out, and that's going to include now Jim Brooks, another playoff driver. He is staying out. Same thing, I think, wants to get that bonus point taken care of here early. I don't know, though, is the way it works here in iRacing and on a lot of the super speedways is you can stay out and get that lap lead here, but then usually the pit road closes coming to the 1 to go. So for Jim Brooks, Jeremy Osborne, Corey Buzzkirk, Ambrose Nabel, Frank Ranger Jr., I think pit road will be closed for all 5 of these drivers. First truck out of pit road was Richard Sanchez. He's going to be in 6th. So we'll keep an eye on those guys. And again, I think if they do pit, it would give them that pit penalty. So I think at this point they have to stay out here. I could be mistaken, but I think that's how it works. Jack Walls, Patrick Gruber, they're actually opting to try to get trucks repaired. And actually, here goes Patrick. Now, front clip, I wonder if this almost has to be a fast repair. That truck looks pretty clean. Jack Walls, you can see, still has some damage. Jim Brooks has hit pit road, so we'll have to wait and see. I'm a little nervous about this. I believe he might wind up getting a penalty on that one. We do have a handful of trucks topping off. That's going to include Brian Wang, Nick Wing, Kwabi Brooks, and Bob Fitzgerald. So we'll see these trucks on pit road, just getting that little extra splash of fuel. And again, we talked about the fuel window being around 25 laps roughly. I don't know if this puts him, because we're going to restart this thing with about 80, 79 to go. I mean, if they can stretch fuel, again, that's all pending cautions, no cautions, but depending how the cautions or fall or don't fall, this could be an opportunity for some of these guys to maybe try to pull a two-stopper from here, which might be why we saw a few guys top off. So what this has done, though, is we've got a kind of a group of blind squirrels here now at the front. We got Jeremy Osborne, Corey Buzzkirk, Ambrose Nabel. Again, looking at the ticker on the left side there, you see the 41 and the 998. Both are playoff drivers, so it's a great opportunity. I believe I believe Jeremy being on the inside here being the leader should have got the lap led that last time by under caution, so he should have a bonus point as well, as we saw for Jim Brooks as well. So the one thing I do have to wait and see is I'm going to watch the 51 here. I'm a little nervous. Like I said, I think he may have to make a green flag pit stop to serve a penalty for possibly entering a closed pit, but I could be wrong. We'll have to wait and see. However, up front, it's going to be about a 10-lap difference in tires between the top four, and then the fifth place is fuel only. Jacob Lee possibly fuel only, so they can go a little further, but I think tires are the same. Then there's a mix of 2 tires, 4 tires, so there's a lot of strategy as we get back to green, as Jeremy Osborne is going to lead the field here back in turn number 1. And this is where I think drivers need to start being a little more cautious here, because some drivers are going to try to be very aggressive at the kickoff, and others are going to try to get everybody settled in, because this is where you can gain or lose time. But again, it's a very big risk versus reward. And I think we saw right there Frank Ranger, for a moment, the 21 was going to try to peek underneath, but he rolled out of it trying to give some space. I saw the same thing for the 06 of Cody Nagels. Oh, man. That 17 truck, Frank Ranger Jr., that truck looks to be not handling super great right now. Again, he did stay out, so you can see right now, I think the couple trucks behind him just feel a little bit trapped. We got contact. That was the concern. Seth Groover around. Gabe Butler involved as well. A couple of our playoff contenders caught up in this one. As you see, a few of these trucks trying to sneak by, but it looks like Gabe, Brian Wang also, and yeah, indeed, Jim Brooks is on pit road. This will be possibly a bit of a saving grace for him, because it slows the field down. He is right now trapped to 1 lap down, but I think it'll prevent him, I should say, I'm sorry, from going any more laps down. So unfortunate for that, but caution is out. Jeremy Osborne shown as our leader at the time of yellow. But now let's go back, because again, I think we just saw that similar situation here with just the drivers, the way everything was kind of stacked up here. So we'll focus. I think it kicks off around the 32 truck. And again, I think these guys are just trying to see if they could find a way around that 17. So we'll watch, and you can see, yeah, Jacob's trying to cut to the inside there, try to sneak under, and then just a little bit, possibly Netco maybe gets the right rear a little bit. Then unfortunately, I say that's going to put the 32 to the outside wall, and then you can see just nowhere for Gabe to go. Todd Merkel gets into the back of Gabe, and pretty solid hit, honestly, for the 88 from both ends. So the front clip's still attached to the truck, and again, more really good avoidance here by those guys further back behind. You see the 53, the 08, so great job by Bob and Patrick and company. But yeah, unfortunately, Gabe's going to be definitely a little hurting right now on that one. So we'll jump once more here. We're going to jump back live, and it looks like another strategy call here. This time, Bud Steele's going to stay out in that 6 truck. He did just previously pit under that last yellow. I see Jim Brooks hustling his truck around. I believe is currently showing as still 1 lap down. So again, honestly, a bit of a break. He still's going to need 1 more caution here to get back on the lead lap. But this does give him an opportunity, at least though, to try to get back into the thick of things here. So again, so basically what I was curious about is indeed what happened there. If you don't pit the first time, you come in the second time around, you do get a pitting under yellow penalty. So something to learn for the future for Jim, I'm sure. It's a pretty lengthy hold if I remember correctly as well. So this will be the second yellow, and now this caution coming out around lap number 13, 14. Everybody pitting here at 14. We're going to come around to 15 here. And so I think at this point now, probably right in that window of a 2-stop to the end strategy. So we'll keep an eye on that. Drivers with some lengthier pit stops right here. The Patrick Gruber, about a 49-second stop. Jack Walls, I think, still working on repairs to his truck, over a minute. Gabe Butler as well, he's still about 1:05, and the front end of that truck's definitely looking a little rough. As well as Seth Groover here rolling out of pit road. Still looks like some lingering damage there. So definitely a little bit of some dramas early, unfortunately, for some of our playoff contenders with penalties, with damage right off the kick here. Good evening, Caitlin. Hope you are doing well. And good evening, Mr. Jamie. Hope you, I had to make sure I was here on time too, so I didn't have time to wake everybody up. But hope you're doing well as well, sir. We're about to get things back underway here to start lap number 17. And again, right now, this time, Bud Steele, the only driver that did not top off under this yellow, he is gonna be our leader. Rick Sanchez to his outside, and then Vicente and Eric Laurie will be row number 2. Right now, all trucks on the lead lap minus the 51 of Jim Brooks. He is still showing as 1 lap down, the only truck 1 lap down. So all he really needs to do right now is just, I think, kind of play it safe and try to, in case there's yellow, just try to be in the right spot at the right time. Unfortunately, I said make that decision he did to pit there with the closed pit road just wasn't. I mean, we'll see if it pays off in the end, but obviously it was a gamble there for him. So we'll have to wait and see. Still plenty of racing to go here. Again, I think we'll be right now at the edge of a 2 pit stop window to the end. But now it's going to be back into the hands of that 6 to the inside, 5 to the outside. Bud Steele, he's going to get back down and away as we head back to green here with lap 17 of 90. Again, lots of racing to go. And again, a little bit different pit strategies for a handful of these drivers. But right now, the inside line is very, very well organized. But Bud's going to be in trouble here, I think, because he's got 2 of the Limitless teammates locked on right behind him, the 14 and the 6. And, yep, there they go, right in unison. And there's just nothing Bud can do now except wait for help, and that's going to come from Ryan Decker here in that 48. But right now, looks like Vicente is going to get a lap led in that 14 truck. So add another playoff driver to get a bonus point. Now the Limitless teammate of Cody Nagels, Vicente Guerrero, getting another one. Oh my goodness, I don't know how that was a contact between Bud Steele and Rick Sanchez. That was extremely tight between the 2 of them. Now Rick back up onto that second lane. Right now, teammates working very, very well together on that inside lane. Oh, we've got a little bit of a connection hiccup there for Ryan Decker. Hopefully, things settle in there for him. Otherwise, Caitlin, you're going to have to tell the girls to get off the phone, stop streaming. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on them. And looking further back, looking at teamwork. We talked about that earlier. I see Brian Wang. He's kind of playing wingman, I think, to Gabe Butler, making sure Gabe can hang on to the draft as best as he can. I see Quabi Brooks staying behind Jim Brooks as well to make sure that I think that the 51 can make sure he stays in the draft as well. No damage, but again, wants to make sure he can stay in that lucky dog position. So looks like some teamwork happening. And with everything that's happened, though, the Groover brothers, now Patrick, he's still not shying away from that third lane. He's peeking to the outside of Todd Merkel here, but now going to tuck right back in line. So at the moment, not a lot here. It's pretty tough to make a lot of moves here at this point in the race, especially if you're not towards the top 3 or 4. But oh my goodness, you can see just how a little bit off center you get. You try to make the adjustment, and it gets extremely wiggly. And there's Vicente. He saw the momentum shift. Rick's going to try to sneak. Nope, he's not. I thought he was going to try to get to that third lane. Couldn't quite get there. So right now, these guys trying to work both lanes here. So again, we talked about who's going to be aggressive, who's going to play it safe. Right now, I do feel like the Limitless drivers here have, I want to say maybe not an aggressive thing, but maybe just trying to keep those temperatures working well for the teammates. And so right now, Vince kind of working both lanes as he needs to. And there goes the 14. He's going to duck back to the inside here, and he'll pick up his teammate Cody. But again, a great run, though, out of 2 here for the 5. This could be a good opportunity for Rick here to see if he can get that lap led, which I don't remember if he has yet. And yes, dicey is definitely the word of the day so far tonight. They have been extremely dicey. We're going to watch this battle here for the lead. We'll see at the line. I think Vicente still holds that spot, so I think still bonus point goes to him. Like I said, I'm not sure if Rick had one or not. Apologies, I don't have any timing scoring that tells me who has led laps. But you can definitely tell that Rick is definitely working hard to try to get one as we speak. Right now, Eric Laurie doing all he can to stay locked on, but right now, like we've talked about before with Cody and Vicente. I mean, they've mentioned that there's times where they aren't even in the same Discord, and they feel like they're just right in sync with each other. And I believe they are working together on Discord at the moment, and it shows because they're working extremely well together, working both lanes, doing a little bit of drafting, and then being able to kind of just control this race right now, leading laps, not being able to give the outside lane a lap lead, just by how well they've been locked onto each other. Like I said, it's a very, very team and partner oriented sport, and they're doing a really good job. I think a streaker would probably violate our TOS, so I'm a little nervous about that one. But right now, I'm watching Patrick Gruber say he's trying to work that third lane once more. Like I said, some of these guys it's been a little wild, and it hasn't scared anybody away yet. And you can see also peeking up there with him is Brandon Briggs working that third lane as well in that Winston truck. I think it was Ryan Decker. Big save there. Frank Ranger Jr. caught the outside wall, hangs onto it. I don't know how he hung onto that truck, but big moment for that 17. But looks like he's going to get by with it okay. As I say, but now again, there's that little separation here from Bob Fitzgerald back to Nick Wing. But again, still a lot of time to go here. I think I just saw Patrick in maybe a little scuff of paints there. Again, just flirting with that third lane and trying to double check out. Okay, everybody still looks like they're still here. So I thought I saw a truck blink out for a little bit earlier, but looks like all is still well. And again, I talked about fuel window, roughly 25 laps or so. They pitted at lap number 14 for most of this lead pack. So that magic number for pit stop should be around lap number 40. But Steele pitted at lap number 9, so that should be about lap 35 for him, and we are at lap number 27 already. So it's going to start getting pretty close for Bud Steele, and that's, in my opinion, where things start to get extremely dicey. That's where everybody has to kind of start making adjustments. Okay, do I need to slow down? Do I need to try to move up a lane? What do I need to do here? So we'll have to keep an eye out on them. You can see the field from... They've got back up there, but yeah, they're starting to kind of separate themselves out a little bit. And there goes the 5. He's able to get to the bottom. He clears the 2 limitless drivers there. And this should now easily give him the chance to lead a lap. As again, I'm watching the inside lane. They are just getting so squirrely right now. I mean, these guys are, again, and the thing is the tires are starting to wear, and I think the handling is already starting to come into play here. As now you see the 14 Vicente jump into the top. Yeah, it's getting. I think these trucks are starting to struggle a little bit, especially depending on who's taking tires or not in this race. Who's taking maybe 2 tires? There's a lot of strategies that have been able to unfold under these couple cautions, so it's very likely that a handful of these trucks might have already been on 30-lap old tires without any changes, and that's just going to add that tire where those that maybe took 4 in the last caution, they've got about 20 laps or 15 laps, I should say, on theirs. They maybe aren't in as bad of shape. So, but yeah, like I said, the truck to watch for me, if we get to that green flag window, it's going to be Bud Steele, because he's in front of a handful of trucks like Ryan Decker, the 41 there, Jeremy Osborne. There's a lot of trucks here that are in that inside lane that are going to have to figure out, what do we do? Do we slow down? Do we try to get to the middle? That's where the track starts to feel very, very small in a very short amount of time. But right now, so you see the 3 blind squirrels here locked on together, the 41, the 998, the 04. They've done a good job getting hooked back up together. And there goes the 54 Patrick Gruber back to the 3rd lane here, trying to work around the outside of Jason Bogart. Again, Brandon Briggs, he wants to get there if he can too. But again, just right now, there just is not the momentum in that 3rd lane. Oh man, right there, Todd Merkel. Ooh, just almost the 54 catching the outside wall. Apologies. I'm watching this while talking, and I'm getting nervous myself watching these guys. I can only imagine how it's feeling right now behind the wheel of these trucks. All right, so we're about to start lap 33, and the one thing I can say for Bud Steele, he's in a really good spot to save fuel. He's been on the inside line. He's the 3rd truck in line. he's probably able to part throttle this a lot right now in that 6 truck. So I think Bud's been able to do a pretty good job to probably save maybe a little bit of extra fuel. I mean, same thing goes Ryan Decker. He's been on that inside lane here for a while, so he's probably been able to really get some good fuel mileage as well in that 48 truck. Again, he did pit under that previous yellow as well, so there's a lot of things that could be happening over the course of this run. But again, I mean, I'm just watching these trucks every time through the trial. It just looks like they get a little worse and a little worse handling through there. And again, I think it's only a matter of time before one of these trucks just tries to step out on them. But looks like so far, like I said, everybody's still in this main pack. You see all 23 trucks here in that pack. Right now, Jim Brooks still the only truck 1 lap down. So, and like I said, I'm still staying focused on Bud Steele because, like I mentioned, he's going to be the first one to hit pit road. And at this point, I think that window is probably just about open because we said pitted at lap number 9. We're on 35. And my bad math says that's been about 25 laps. So, again, he probably may gain a lap or 2, under with that caution. But I still think it's going to be probably in this, like maybe 37, at most 38 here. So, again, we'll have to keep an eye. And you'll be able to tell as well because the trucks around him are going to probably start to make some adjustments when he calls out, hey, I got to pit. And that'll be where we watch a Ryan Decker or a Jeremy Osborne to see what they do in response. So that's what I'm going to be watching still with these guys. As right now, let's say pretty much the top 12 or so are still all pretty much double file. And then around Amber's Navel, things start to get just a little bit single filed. As you see the 54 actually heat Patrick. He's found his way to the inside line here, maybe getting himself ready for a potential strategy for pit stops. But right now, again, Bud's done a great job here. He took that gamble, stayed out, tried to lead a lap, and he's still able to run some more laps. So, and also with as quick as this track is, these guys are running a very, very reduced fuel tank. So that's what's making these guys have to pit as fast and as frequently as they are. Tracks like iRacing, Superspeedway, Talladega, and Daytona, fuel cells a little bigger. The biggest one being iRacing, Superspeedway, because of those 230 plus mile an hour speeds. So that's another thing to keep in mind. So these guys will be able to fuel up pretty quickly, but then the question is, do you want to wait and take tires? Because if you do, you will be waiting if you take 4 tires. If you take 2, I think it would be right about on par. So there's risk reward there as well. The trucks will of course drive better on 4 versus 2. So yeah, so it's going to be really interesting to see kind of what we see pit stop time. I think that's going to be another telltale here. And I saw Ryan Decker. He's drifting up. I think we're going to see Bud Steele here hit pit road. And yep, here he comes. He's going to duck in. Looks like everybody's going to get through. Now he's just got to get it down to pit road speed. Oh, we see Seth Groover overshoots his pit entry. And that's going to be an unsafe pit entry for him. That's going to be, I think, a 40-second hold. Oh, we got trouble in the back here. That 5 truck, Richard Sanchez. And it's still some smoke up ahead. Oh, Jacob Lee's around this. Oh, he saves it as well here. So we still stay green, but there's a lot that just happened there. And that's really spaced this field out here. I'm not sure what's all gone on here just these last couple laps, but it's really shaken up the running order. A few trucks have just kind of fallen off the draft, like Frank Ranger Jr., Jacob Lee, Quavi Brooks, Jim Brooks. They're in a tough spot as well at the moment. So that pit cycle really kind of, I'm not sure. It's something that happened after the pit stop. I said I don't want to go back and check on it yet because there's still so much going on. And again, I know their pit stops here are about to happen as well. So there's, like I said, there's still a lot about to happen here. Here they come. Here comes 14 and 6. They're ducking onto pit road. And a really good job by them. Here's one trying to squeeze in there. I think everybody's getting in here. But, man, these guys are, again, they're working hard here to get on pit road. So we've got a big group of trucks now on pit road. That's going to hand the lead over to Jason Bogart, Patrick Groover, Ryan Decker, Brandon Briggs. And then you see a little further back, there's Todd Merkel, Nick Wing, Bob Fitzgerald. So same thing, these guys probably not too far away from having to make their scheduled pit stop. Yeah, here comes the 10. He is on pit road, the 18 along with him. And now we see the 54 and the 48. And that looked pretty good by these 4 trucks. You see right behind as well, Nick Wing, Bob Fitzgerald, Quavi Brooks. That leaves Todd Merkel. Todd is saving fuel here. He has gone longer than anybody in that 22 truck. Hopefully has the fuel to run it all the way back around here. But that truck, is he still at full song here? I think he is, but I think this lap of no draft is not going to be his friend here. But what we got to do is we got to wait for this pit stop cycle to finish completely and see where everybody's going to cycle out, because right now we have a leader by a clear margin here, and we'll check on that here in just a moment. But right now there's our leader still currently as we speak, and waiting for the cycle to complete. But it looks like it's going to be possibly Patrick Gruber, Brandon Briggs potentially. There's the 22. He's on pit road again, still showing as our race leader here. He's still getting service on. Right side tires. We'll see if the lefts go up. Yep, left side tires as well. So it's gonna be a little longer stop for him, but again, that truck will handle better as now he's down and away. But as he gets up to speed, all right, now Patrick Gruber is showing as our race leader here in that 54, ahead of Richard Sanchez and then Brandon Briggs. So it does look like a good chunk of field here is about to kind of get right back together. So we're going to wait for this. And look at the chaos behind, though, right around Brian Wayne, Gabe Butler. Everybody's trying to get, again, Brian's trying to play helper teammate to Gabe here with that damage he has. So right now Vicente's trying to work to his outside. Doesn't have a lot of help yet. But Brian's going to stay committed to Gabe and just try to see if he can stay as long as he can without having to take that fast repair, because you just never know. You want to save it in your pocket for as long as you can. So after the cycle, we have about 15 trucks in this main pack here on the lead lap. There's, again, a little separation, but these guys all should get back together. After that, it looks like Jack Walls is about 3 seconds off. He's got Corey Buskirk with him. Todd Merkel's about to get there. Then another group here being led by Jacob Lee. We saw Seth Gruber, unfortunately, his pit penalty. Bob Fitzgerald's in that pack as well. So right now, the Lucky Dog battle, I believe at the moment, I think Frank Ranger Jr. Yeah, right now, Frank Ranger Jr., the first truck went down, and then Jim Brooks, and then Seth Gruber. So Jim right now, actually, he needs to get around that 17 truck just in case. You never know if a yellow is going to come. So you need to try to get up there and get there. So unfortunately, right now, the Gruber brothers are kind of bookmarking the field right now. Patrick leading Seth in 23rd here, as we just crossed the halfway point of this race. And again, these drivers should all have to make one more pit stop to make it to the end. Again, they all pitted roughly around 38 for Bud Steele, 41 for Patrick Gruber. So again, based on those numbers, that tells me they should get to about lap 65. Oh, we got contact. This might bring out the caution. Ryan Decker involved, and caution is out. Huge wreck here. Oh, Jim Brooks involved here, so that's going to take his Lucky Dog away. The 17 truck of Frank Ranger Jr., he comes to a stop to try to avoid this incident. We'll have to kind of wait and see where the Lucky Dog goes, because it could even go to Seth here. But caution back out, unfortunately. And again, a lot of damaged trucks here. Nick Wing missing the front clip of his truck. We saw the 48 truck involved with Ryan Decker. His truck also front clip gone there. So again, a lot of it's been a lot of stuff happening. A lot of our playoff drivers been getting involved in these things. So we're going to start off with the 48 truck of Ryan Decker. We'll see how this all unfolds. Field is pretty much all on pit road, and we'll wait and see if we can get a better look at here. And it may have just been a little bit of contact here through the turn. Oh no, Ryan Decker just gets loose on entry. And remember, we talked about some drivers taking 2, some taking 4. Ryan Decker, I believe, was a 2-tire stop. Unfortunately, also look at Cody Nagels involved in that one. Great save by Patrick Gruber behind. And then behind him, I mean, just look at the chaos you see. You see Gabe get by, but then Brian Wing, he gets caught from behind. You see the 41, the 07. Look at Eric Laurie. That could be the avoidance of the race. You see, unfortunately, Quaby Brooks, Jim Brooks, they both get a little piece of it. Like I said, Jim Brooks right there gets a little extra hit. So that's going to be some damage for him. Great job by Frank Ranger Jr. just coming to a stop. And indeed, Frank actually is our Lucky Dog. Frank's already waving around the pace car. But I'm going to go back here one more time, because I need to see this from Eric Laurie's point of view, because this, I think, right now is one of the moves of the race. Let's hop on board. Let's go full speed. Let's watch what Eric sees here as we come through 1 and 2. You can see the smoke. These guys are starting to wreck. Watch Eric just cut straight left, gets through it all, gains a whole bunch of spots, and comes through clean on the other side. Great job by Eric Laurie in that number 071 John Deere machine. And so you see right now here, Cody Nagels has caught the pace truck, and I believe he stayed out. I think the pits were open. I'm a little confused by this one here, unless maybe he drove through. I'm not 100% sure on this one. However, Richard Sanchez, he did pit along with Vicente, Jason, and company. But again, a lot of two-tire stops here. I think the first four-tire truck here is actually Patrick Groover, Brandon Briggs, and I like that strategy just because of what we've seen today with some of the attrition basically. And so, yeah, so another thing to mention, like I talked about, the 17 of Frank Ranger Jr. Did get the wave round, I believe, should still be on the lead lap here. Waiting to see. It is a little wild right now, Karen. I'm doing okay as I am. I think Matt might be having an IndyCar race, but we'll make it work one way or the other. I say I'll definitely need some more water after this race. But I say the other thing is I can't show off our amazing sponsor 4D Raceworks. These cautions are going by so quick. But what I do want to mention is after all three championship races, don't go anywhere after the finales after Talladega for Thursdays and for Sundays, and then Tuesday night's finales at Indianapolis. Don't go anywhere after the race because we will be doing a random draw. All the drivers who have run 10 or more of the 12 races of the season, all those drivers will be entered into a random drawing to win a pair of 4D Racewear gloves. So really, really big shout out to 4D Racewear for putting that on. For the drivers, and saying last year we did racing shoes for the champions. This year we wanted to kind of give more drivers an opportunity for it, so we're going for the racing gloves and having a chance for those drivers that basically that have been making all the races. So big shout out to them, and big thank you again to Jim Herrick and everybody at 4D Racewear. So we're about to get back underway here. 41 to go on this restart. It is Richard Sanchez, Vicente Guerrero the front row, then Jason Bogart, Patrick Groover row 2. And we are back underway. And again, we'll be looking and keeping an eye on the Lucky Dog battle. Right now, I believe it's going to be Seth Groover, Jim Brooks, and Jeremy Osborne in those three. And those three are playoff drivers as well. So that is going to be a very important battle. Right now, Seth has it. So we'll have to keep an eye on the 32 truck, the 51, as well as the 41. But right now, Seth has actually a fairly safe advantage over these guys. You see the 53 here down to the apron. Not sure, maybe a pit penalty. You're trying to get back maybe to the 51, so keep an eye on him. Also, need hopefully no pit penalties for any of these drivers. But right now, Vicente continues to lead the way here. And we got a number of drivers on pit road here. Yeah, there's something happened there. A lot of pit penalties here, including Cody, Eric Laurie as well, Quaby Brooks, Frank Ranger Jr.'s, Jim Brooks on pit road. Whenever you see something like that with that many trucks, something was amiss, and those are kind of a tough pill to swallow because you know there's probably something that was done wrong per iRacing or through iRacing. So those are really tough to see, and that's going to really put a lot of these trucks down in a very, very difficult position, just the way everything's fallen. So you're going to see a lot of playoff drivers here, unfortunately, now in the bottom half of this ticker. And so now this is, again, unfortunately, a really good opportunity for some of these other guys. And, man, I'm watching Seth Groover right now. I don't think he needs to be this aggressive at the moment. I think right now he is by far and clear the only truck in the best spot of being one lap down, because right now Jim Brooks just rolling out of pit road. I think he's going to go from 1 to possibly 3 laps down in the 51. That's probably not going to be one that's surmountable to get back to. And then Eric Laurie's the next truck in line, and he is about 15 plus seconds back. So I think if I'm Seth here, I play it safe, truth be told. I think I roll it back. So I'll say, Mom, if you're able to yell at your kid or kind of use some telepathy on him, be like, hey, back it down here, Seth. You're in a good spot here. If there's a caution, don't be in a dangerous spot here, because right now you're easily able to be that free pass truck. But I think your boys know one direction, and that's forward, and they don't like to ride. They want to be aggressive and get to the front. And right now Jason Bogart right now just outside the top 5 here, as they're trying to again go 3 wide. But I think he's been pretty clean here throughout the race in that 10 truck, in that Flex Steel machine. But again, still a lot of racing to go, 36 to go. So again, not quite in the window to the end. But just the way these guys are racing up front, I mean, this, I feel like, should be a bit of a gift for a handful. Oh, we see some smoke up ahead, but it looks like everybody's still pointing in the right direction, so I think we should be okay. Ooh, man, that was a big move there. I think Jacob Lee had to maybe roll out of the throttle potentially there for the 998 truck. So I think Jacob maybe cut in a little bit of slack there for possibly for Corey. I say it was hard to see from that angle, but they are starting to catch some traffic, and I think that might be Frank Ranger Jr. here in that 17 truck. And I say that truck looks like it is not handling the best right now. I think maybe has some lingering damage potentially too. So this is where things get a little dicey with that big speed difference, and then of course a narrow track for as fast as it is here. So let's say these guys right here, the 18 and the 32 are going to need to squeeze the middle. Frank's giving them plenty of room up top, and I think they're going to get through. So yeah, great job by Frank giving that third lane, and then also by Brandon and Seth working that outside, or the middle lane I should say, to get through. So yeah, really good job by those guys. So right now we got 15 trucks on the lead lap here, and then like I said, unfortunately, just with whatever happened to that caution, it really cost a bunch of trucks positions. So like I said, you can see on the ticker there, you got Seth Groover, Cody Nagels, Eric Laurie all 1 down, and then you got Bob Fitzgerald on back 2 down or more. So I'll say I'll have to kind of revisit that with the powers that be and see if it was a mistake by a bunch of drivers, if it was a preventable situation or what. That way hopefully we can get those remedied for future races and future seasons. But right now, at this point, all we can do is focus forward on the race itself. And again, everybody's going to have to make one more pit stop still. Nobody can make it to the end here, as right now, still 33 to go. Again, 25 is roughly, I think, the magic number to make it to the scheduled distance. However, there might be a point where you got to start thinking about green-white checkers as well. So, again, with them pitting at 47, that should get them to about lap 72. If they want to stretch it fully to the end. So, and I think if they do stretch it all the way to the end, that would give them enough window as well for green-white checkered finishes. So that'll of course be the next question: is what do you do? When do you pit? What strategy do you take? Because we saw with Ryan Decker, it seemed like those 2 tires were not a very happy combination for him in the 48. However, he has recovered, and he is right there still in this main pack. And then I got to say, Gabe Butler, he is trying to limp that truck with the damage he has for as long as he has. And he's had a very, very dedicated Brian Wing behind him, trying to help keep him in that draft. And right now, that's what Gabe needs, is he needs to have a pusher, and he's able to then use that draft to pull himself back in. So really, really good teamwork by those two in a difficult situation for Gabe getting caught up in that earlier wreck. That said, though, we are already down to 30 to go in this one here. And I'm saying we got to shout out right now, because look at Brandon Briggs. He's been trying to work that third lane a few times as well with the Groover brothers, and they have now found their way to the front here. You see Patrick on the inside line. He's got his brother just about to get to him. So actually, if Seth can get in front of Brandon, in front of Patrick, Seth would actually be the tail end of the lead lap, which would then actually open the lucky dog position, I believe, to, at the moment, Cody Nagels. So Cody is definitely right now the biggest Seth Groover fan, rooting Seth on, try to get him to the front, because, again, that would then open the door for Cody to be in that position. But, again, right now, though, it's Eric Laurie's right there. Actually, Eric's the one pushing him as they run. So here's that group of trucks that had to pit for their penalties. They have all found each other, and they're about a half a lap behind the leaders. And like I said, some are 1 down, some are 2 and 3 down. It's just unfortunately been a tough night for a handful of trucks here this evening. And of course, with it being a 4-race playoff, there's not usually any real chance of having any sort of mulligan or anything like that, because you're gonna probably have to be the top of your game. As you see Seth here, the 18 trucks, he's gonna go to the top. He's gonna let the 32 by. And I think that 998 tried to see if he could sneak by him, but couldn't quite do it. But now they're trying to get themselves reorganized here. So that's going to cost a lot of track position for Seth here until he can get Brandon back to him. But I do wonder, maybe we see someone else. Maybe do we see a Jacob Lee here? Maybe try to jump to that second lane. Or again, do they say, hey, you know what? We've pretty much cut this lead lap field in half here. Let's just cruise for a little bit. Let's get to that pit stop window, and then let's fight to the end. So there's a lot of potential strategy here, but now Brandon and Seth have switched positions. They've hooked back up, and now this will put Seth in a spot to be able to try to be that lucky dog. Oh, Bob Fitzgerald there gets to the outside wall there. That trial is a very dangerous spot. It's you kind of missed your entry point a little bit if you're in the outside line, and I mean, he pancaked that thing pretty solidly. I think Frank Ranger Jr. may have had a moment behind him too, but so far so good. But look at up front, though. I think Seth is just alongside of Patrick, maybe a nose ahead with help from Brandon. And we'll see. I mean, I don't expect we'll see any shenanigans, but I mean, Patrick, if he can find a way to get his brother in front of him, I could easily see Patrick then trying to push Seth as the tail end of the lead lap driver. Again, both these trucks are playoff drivers. So Seth, I mean, of course, they want to be able to have both of them be in the best position here to have a chance to win this race and then be in good contention for the championship. So, and right now, Brandon is doing all he can to push that 32. But again, Brandon's got to watch his temperatures in that 18 truck to make sure he doesn't get that thing overheated. But we're now at 25 to go. So to me, pit window is now open to make it to the end on the scheduled distance. But again, I think there is further to go if you want to account for a green-white checker. But again, right now, Brandon Briggs right now showing around second, third place based on where he is on the push. And now look at Patrick. He picks up his brother here. They're going to try to lock on and get a big push here. See if they could clear Vicente. And the answer is going to be no, because Rick and Vicente, they hook on very strong together here. And I think they saw what was about to happen, say, nope, we're going to get locked on with each other as well. And now Seth is going to try to push Patrick for all he's worth. See if he can clear those two. And that's what they want to do here. They have that 54 and 32. They want to get in front of the two on the bottom lane here. But again, though, that doesn't, in my mind, that doesn't really work for Seth, because that still puts him, the first truck, one lap down. It seems like they want to get him on the tail in the lead lap just by what we've seen. Oh, man, big move by Patrick to get back to the bottom there. And here we go. I see pit stops starting. It's going to start with Richard Sanchez, and he's going to have some friends with Jacob Lee, Jason Bogart, Brian Wang's in there as well. Gabe Butler locks him down as well. So you saw there for a moment the 17 tried to hop in there. Frank Granger knew he wasn't going to make it. He cut back on track. So he's going to lose a little bit of track time, but avoids a pit entry penalty. So we'll keep an eye and see how they come out together. But up front, Patrick continues to lead this way with Vicente. Seth Groover now sitting in the third spot. Again, still the first truck, one down. And look at up top, though. I see Bud Steele, Ryan Decker. They said, all right, let's get some track position here. We were riding, we were saving. Let's get the go pedal going here to try to get to the front. So they're going to try to now go the long strategy, because look right there. Those guys that pitted now, they're all one lap down as things run. So that's the danger of short pitting now. This thing has to go green for this strategy to work out for them. And, of course, they also have to do a good job getting in and out of pit road. But right now, though, Bud Steele, Ryan Decker, and there's the caution. Is going to come out here. The 22 truck there, Todd Merkel. That is trouble in the back here. He is pointing the wrong direction. I think also contact with the 41, possibly Nicholas Wing as well. As Nick's going to, yeah, he's got to roll that truck to the apron. We'll go back and see, but that is the caution that all those drivers that just short pitted, they did not want to see. They should get the lead lap back with a wave around, but I believe Seth Groover, as long as he wasn't involved, I think will be our lucky dog. But let's go back and see what happened here. We saw it right around Nick Wing and Jack Walls, or sorry, not Jack Walls, Nick Wing and Todd Merkel, apologies there. And so we'll watch as they enter, and it looks like, I don't know what happened there, truth be told. It looks like just a little bit of a squeeze between Nick and Todd, and they get hooked. They kind of get stuck together, and then, oh, man, there's just nothing. The 41, Jeremy Osborne, he's just wrong place, wrong time. Both trucks almost tip over sideways. And then there's Jack Walls. He sneaks through nicely in and unscathed. So, yeah, so this is definitely going to change things up here. And you see Todd, he's just going to let this thing roll backwards, because at this point, stomping on the brakes is not going to do anything for him. So there goes Seth Groover. He does get his lead lap back. So put the number 32 back on the lead lap. And he is right now showing in 10th position with everything that's been going on here in the top 10 now. Now, here's the next group of trucks. These trucks here are all going to take the wave around. So you got Richard Sanchez, Jacob Lee, Gabe Butler, Brian Wang, Jason Bogart. These 5 trucks are all going to get their wave around, get back onto the lead lap. But they're going to have to restart at the tail end behind all the lap traffic and everything else. So right now, really, these guys here, these are our net leaders. And it looks like, against the mixed strategy for these guys that pitted here, it looks like, I believe, fuel only for Patrick. It looks like 2 tires for Ryan Decker, Bud Steele, 4 tires for Vicente Guerrero, Brandon Briggs, Ambrose Nabel. I think some damage repairs, but also probably 4 tires for Corey Buskirk. And Jack Walls, Todd Merkel as well. Looks like 4. Oops, there's Todd Merkel. Looks like damage possibly, but also 4 tires for these guys. So I like the 4-tire strategy here. because of how small the field is for those that hit pit road under green, or sorry, under yellow. To me, I think 4 tires is the play here because, yes, 2 tires gets you track position, but we saw earlier how loose Ryan Decker was on those 2 tires as the run went on. So what we're about to see here, though, is a lot of wave around trucks being led by that 5, the 21, the 8, the 88, the 05, and the 10. So all these guys, the 53 as well, is going to get one of his laps back. I think he's going to go from 2 down to 1 down, if I'm not mistaken. I'll let the timing and scoring update, and yes, it'll be 53 going back to 1 lap down. So that'll put him back into the Lucky Dog battle. However, he is not pitted since lap 50, so this is a gamble by the 53 truck trying to see if he can maybe get a quick yellow to get back into the main pack, because he can only go to, again, probably around lap 75 or so. So we'll have to kind of wait and see on that one. And so you're just about to see here in the background, you're going to see all these trucks starting to catch back up the back of the field. Those are the wave around trucks that are going to roll in behind Bob Fitzgerald. So up front, though, it's going to be Patrick Groover on the inside, Ryan Decker to his outside. Again, fuel only in 2 tires. I think Bud Steele 2 tires in the 6 truck. And I think from Vicente Guerrero on back, I think 4 tires for all those guys. However, Richard Sanchez, Jacob Lee, and all these guys, they pitted at 68 under green. And based on their pit stop times, I'm going to say that that's fuel only for those guys. So handling I think the handling battle right now definitely goes to Vicente all the way back to Seth Groover. But again, some of those drivers a little further back. So we'll see, though. We're going to back to green, 17 to go. Patrick Groover leads the field back underway. And you see a little bit of tire spin there, I think, with those older tires. And it's a great start for Ryan Decker here. He might be able to clear here coming out of the turn 2 into turn number 3, because Vicente is completely locked onto him. And again, Vicente is going to be one of those trucks that can definitely handle the best here. And oh man, it is a hornet's nest behind these guys. Everybody's getting very aggressive. And sure enough, Ryan does clear. He's going to stay middle here for the moment with Vicente. And I think that's the right call, because I think Vicente right now, again, I think he's probably the better pusher with the fresher tires. And he should be able to clear here when he needs to. But right now, I think he's going to try to stay up on the top side. Does lead that lap as well for reference. Get a bonus point as well. See the whole field together here as they head back down the backstretch, back to turn 3. We're going to be hitting 15 to go this time around. I saw for the moment of 32 trying to get to that third lane, and Seth's trying to get some position back here. And so he's going to be aggressive, and it is starting to get down to crunch time. So this is probably about the time you do want to use the third lane. But again, Jacob Lee just kissing the outside wall there too. But man, again, it's that risk versus reward, and I feel like there's a really big risk, and I don't know if I'm ready for that reward, truth be told. But up front, though, still a really good battle here with Patrick and Ryan here running the front 2 rows. And then Bud Steele and Vicente being the really good pushers that they have been so far in this race. And then, yeah, I got to say, I mean, really good runs here as well. Brandon Briggs, Corey Buskirk, they've been in this top 5, top 10 a good chunk of this race here. But this is where things start to get a lot scarier, because the pushes become a little more aggressive. The drafting becomes a little tighter, and just, yeah, it gets very, very nerve-wracking. You see also up top here, you see the 06 here. That's Cody Nagels. Cody, I believe, again, he's trying to be that lucky dog, and so he can't just ride where he is, because Eric Lori's his competition. Eric's right there on the inside line, sometimes ahead of him, sometimes behind him. So I think we're going to see Cody at some point say, I got to make a move. I got to take a gamble here and try to get further up. Because the same thing, you don't know if or when the yellow's going to be, and you don't know where it's going to come from. So at the moment, though, I'll say everybody's pretty settled here 2x2. And again, we had a few drivers that waved around that probably have to go back to pit road, like the 53. He's banking on the yellows. Bud Steele, we got contact. This is probably going to, we'll see actually. Everybody's trying to hang on to it here. Corey Buskirk. Oh, caution does now come out. The 53 is actually going to drive through pit road, I believe, to avoid that incident. And that's going to bring the caution out here with 12 to go. I think Bud Steele, we mentioned those tires. I think that 6 truck, I think he just got loose. We'll go back and look. Maybe there was some contact, but it looked like Bud honestly just got really loose to me. So we'll go back and see. You can already see the 6 kind of already starting to spin the wrong way. So I'll back it up a little further here. Oh, actually, no. It's not a, that wasn't a tire situation. That was an apron situation. So watch the 6. He's so tucked up under Patrick. Just doesn't get a good view for the entry and just cuts a little too shallow, gets the apron here. And then unfortunately just in the process trying to save it, it has to chase it down to the apron. And then this is where Corey just, unfortunately, just nothing Corey can do here. He has to move up to avoid the 6. He gets into the side of Jack Walls. And then at that point, then he goes for a pretty big slide. But I have to say, though, really great hands by the two of these guys because they just about get it together there. And then right there, I think just a little secondary contact. That's what then sends the spin back around there for them. So that's the caution here. And you'll see, really, I mean, he has it locked down. He gets that saved, in my opinion. So great job to Corey. I would say it doesn't help him right now with the situation that he's in. But that brings the caution back out here, and we're going to restart this thing within 10 to go. However, I'm going to take a quick break. We got to eventually show off 40 Racehorse. We're going to do it now, so we'll be right back.
40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
All right, we are back. We're not quite back at the 1 to go. I do need to mention, though, Lucky Dog Cody Nagels back on the lead lap in that 06 truck. He was able to be ahead of Eric Laurie at the time of the yellow, and so he's now back. That brings us 16 trucks on the lead lap. Eric Laurie right now, again, he'll be the first truck one down. I think his competition is going to be this truck right here, the 53 of Quabi Brooks. But right now, Quabi, I think, has end the longest line, so Eric's got some wiggle room here. He can probably be a little safer on this restart. And again, we're within 10 to go here. We're going to restart this race with 9 to go. And Mom, your telepathy is working pretty well because now you got your boys here both right around the top 5. You got Patrick there in 3rd. Seth is in 6th. So after everything that they've been through tonight, they've got themselves back in a great position. Also a really good break there for like a Richard Sanchez back in the main pack as well. Drivers that did pit under that yellow: Gabe Butler, Jason Bogart, Bud Steele, Brian Wang. Looks like 4 tires for all of those guys. Actually, it might be 2 tires for Jason Bogart, but definitely 4 for the 88, the 6, and the 05. And I think that is definitely the right call for them. Corey Buskirk still in the lead lap. He had a little lengthy stop for damage repairs. You see Brian trying to get some heat in the tires in that 05 truck there. So we'll keep an eye on those guys. So, but man, it's been a wild one here tonight. We've had 5 cautions for the 15 laps so far tonight, and we are going to restart this thing within 10 to go, 9 at the line. And again, we still have 16 trucks on the lead lap, 2 trucks, 1 down, and then a handful more a little bit further back. So it's been a tough night for a few guys, but really, really good running for a handful of these guys. So we're going to hand it back over to Ryan Decker now. He is our leader. He has control of this restart. But again, most times you're going to see these drivers, they will wait until the green flag flies, keep the field bunched up together, and we're back underway. Ryan Decker leading the field, Vicente Guerrero to the outside. Then you got Patrick Gruber and Brandon Briggs in row number 2. So right now, Ryan's going to have to play mirror, and there we go, right there. Immediately, Patrick saw an opening. He jumps top. He's got Vicente with him, but now the 48, though, he's got a really good pusher here, and that's Jack Walls. And again, we've seen what Jack can do, but I'm watching that 3rd lane now. The aggression's finally kicking in from a few others. That's Gabe Butler, Brian Wayne. They said, we got to go 3rd. We got to do something here, as right now, Patrick leads the way here with 8 to go. Oh, Seth is trying to get that 3rd lane going, but again, he's got to wait for some help, and it's not going to be until Gabe Butler. Ooh, close call there. I think Jack's trying to get a little bit of a view for the entry there. And now here comes Seth Gruber. He's going to get to the top side. He's got a good run. He's got Gabe Butler now behind him. And so we're going to start to see up. There's the big slide there. As soon as Gabe tried to go, Seth is trying to go as well. And as again, it's these guys at some point are going to wind up trying to go for the same real estate, but up front, though, the 54 and the 48, they've stayed locked onto each other. Great pushing by Jack, great pushing by Vicente, and it's really anybody's guess. And again, though, these pushers, they got to be conscious of their temperatures. They're a little bit of contact. Gabe Butler's at the checkup. Brian Wang has a checkup. I think a little bit of contact possibly from the 18 and the 32, but they hang on to it here as we're down to 6 to go here at the line. And right now, like I said, that number 10 truck doing a great job as well here, trying to put himself back in contention in this race, but it's gotten hectic here towards the closing end of this one. And right now, Patrick has just a nose ahead, but as locked. Oh, look at Vicente for a moment, thought about trying to sneak underneath. There's the contact. Oh, big hits in the back here. Caution back out. Vicente Guerrero on the wall. Oh, Todd Merkel as well. There. Oh, Jason Barker just talked about him. He gets involved as well. You see the 04 involved as well. There's Brandon Briggs. Big hits for him as well. That will, I believe, put us into that green-white checker territory. Huge hits for a number of our drivers here. And so let's say we'll have to get this all sorted back out here. We'll go back and try to take a better look how all this came about. But, I mean, it's just, again, it was go time. A lot of these guys are just going for anything and everything they could. And I believe it started further forward here, right around Vicente and Patrick. So we'll take a better look at this one, see if we can look. And we saw for a moment right there, yep. So Vicente drifted up a little bit and then just got him a little off-centered with Brandon. And then, unfortunately, try to catch it. And then, unfortunately, just there's nowhere for any of these trucks to go. You see Bud Steele, you see Gabe Butler. I'm trying to see who's that. Oh, it's Seth Groover also gets a piece of it as well. And oh, man, just sliding across. I think Cody does a little bit of off-roading, but I think he gets through it. I think Brian Wang had some really good brakes in that 05 truck to get through this one as well. And so I think he is going to get through as well. I'm curious about Eric Laurie because Eric, again, he was in that Lucky Dog battle. And, yeah, actually, there goes Eric. He's getting his lap back as we speak. So I want to go one more time here. And let's watch for Eric Laurie because, again, this caution, if he gets involved in it, he doesn't get his lucky dog. So he's on the brakes. Look at everybody else sliding right by him. And he's able to just wait for the safe places to go and then drive right on by us. So that is the second wonderful job, reaction, and avoidance for Eric Laurie. And that's going to get him back on the lead lap. And again, this could be, I mean, that can be a championship winning save for Eric Laurie to get back on the lead lap and wreck avoidance. So that puts us back under yellow. And right now, I'll say we are at 4 to go, going to come to the line to 3 to go. This will either be an unofficial green-white checkered, or I think it's going to be attempt number 1. Not 100% sure. However, Patrick's still up there, so that one's going a little better. Seth, not as good of a time here. He's on pit road. He's just trying to get everything he can fixed here before he rolls back out on track. And then I think Vicente, that truck's hurting, unfortunately. And there goes Seth. He's going to try to roll back out. Todd Merkel as well, significant damage there. I say and Richard's right there though too. Richard's gonna be in, I think, 4th position here on the 1 to go. So I'm gonna say we still got a couple of them hanging in there. I'll say unfortunately I should say I won't say only, but right now Seth obviously a little hurt, but again, I mean, we still got some racing to go, and I do believe this is indeed a green-white checkered number 1. But we'll have to wait and see. And so the way that works is restart comes out with 2 to go. If they can get to the white flag from that point on, it is an official race. They race back to the checkers. Of course, the yellow, or in this case, red and white line rule still applies, so they need to stay above, cannot pass below the red and white line, and also can't protect below the red and white line. So basically that's kind of an out of bounds or almost like a invisible wall, if you may. So you'll see him sometimes be just a little bit off-centered from there just to try to play it safe. But yeah, so it's just something to keep in mind. If it's just a little move to try to, again, kind of give room for the competitors, that's not a big deal. The concern is, of course, if they're going all 4 below and things of that nature. So if it's avoiding a wreck as well, that's a whole different story. So basically, white flag at that point, it is official. If a caution comes out before they get to the white, at that point, they will have to re-rack them and do it again. Again, there are a total of 3 attempts. If on the 3rd and final attempt a caution comes out before the white flag, field will be frozen at the time of yellow. So that's what these guys have to play with here. We've got the 48 and the 83 on the inside row, 54.5 on the outside. And this should be attempt number 1 here. And we are back underway. Ryan Decker, Jack Walls, and I think they may have gone maybe a teeny bit early because I think, no, actually, no, look at this, though. Big momentum here now for the outside lane. 5 truck to the 54. Really good pushing for the outside line here. Jack and Ryan need to get themselves realigned here. You see up top Jacob Lee, he sees momentum. He says, yep, the outside's where I need to be right now. And Patrick Groover back to the point. Richard Sanchez with him. We'll see. They both do clear. Great job by the two of them. Look at Cody Nagels. He's trying to work that third lane. He's got Brian Wang behind him now. And it looks like we will wait till we see officially. And we do get to the white. This is an official race. Now these guys race back to the checkered. Oh, a little bit of a hit for Brian Wang to the outside wall. Right now it's side by side Patrick Groover and Richard Sanchez. So I say the parents probably now the most nervous of everybody here. Ryan Decker trying to push the inside line here with the 54 as we're heading to the checkered here. Oh, a little loose for the 54 from that bump from the 48, but the 48 is trying to get himself as far forward as he can. He's going to peak. Nope, can't do it here at the line. It's going to be Richard Sanchez with the big push at the end. Going to get the win here. Oh, contact at the very end there. But race winner tonight is Richard Sanchez. There's the top 3 in view. The 5, the 54, and the 21 are race winners this evening. Or sorry, our top 3, I should say, this evening. Ryan Decker, Corey Buskirk rounding out the top 5. Cody's going to do a little bit of drifting here at the finish. But big push from that top side there at the end. Let's watch that one more time here out of 4. Because for a moment, it looked like it was going to be the 5. But then I think right there, you see a little bobble from the 48 there. And I think the momentum, though, we talked about the momentum coming out of turn number 4. The outside line usually really good. But I think right here, you see that separation in the 48 a little bit lower than the 54. That slowed down their momentum. Unfortunately, Jack Walls, Bud Steele, they make a little bit of contact. And then you see, and then just kind of the reaction from that. But then watch Cody Nagels trying to sneak through the top. And then at the line, there's the difference there. And look at how locked on Jacob Lee is as well. I think Jacob plays a big role in making sure that 5 gets to the finish line first. So great job by those guys. We'll jump back live here. Let's watch that 5 celebrate here on the front stretch here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, as he is our winner tonight. So first bonus points and kind of first blood, if you will, goes to Richard Sanchez in that 5. I say Jacob Lee. I say he did a hell of a run too. He's happy with that podium, and he's been practicing. I see a pretty solid circle there, so we'll have to ask him about some of that practice there. So let's go back. Let's talk to some of these drivers here, and then we'll pull up our final results after that. So we're going to kick it off with Jacob Lee. Let's hunt that fella down. Oh, Matt Wagner's already doing his work for me. So, Matt, I'm glad to see you. I missed you. But we're going to start with Jacob Lee here. And Jacob, man, that push at the end, getting that big push out of 4, I think that propelled Richard to the win there. But I'm sure selfishly too, you're thinking, hey, if I can push Richard ahead, that can push me from 4th to 3rd or maybe even 2nd if all goes well. I mean, this was a wild one tonight. I wasn't sure who was going to be kind of relaxing, who was going to just go after it at the end, but it seemed like pretty much tonight was everybody was going after it.
Yeah, it was a wild one. So the main game today was do your best to stay out of wrecks, But yeah, man, it was we did that early pit. We were like right in the gas window where we could make it to the end, and then that caution came out, and we're like, oh no, we're in trouble. And so it worked out for us. We just had a plan to hook together, all 3 of us, and try to get back to the front as quick as we could, and it seemed to work out pretty well for us. But we weren't sure where we were going to finish there at the end, and then we just kind of lined up perfectly, and it kind of worked out in our favor. So.
Yeah, and the pit stop is a really good point. And that was something I mentioned, that the risk versus reward. Do you maybe short pit and try to, like say, kind of spread the field out a little bit? But as a Daytona Talladega, it's less risky, of course, because you can usually pit there and not lose a lap. Atlanta and iRacing Superspeedway, that's usually a track if you pit, you lose a lap. I mean, was that something you guys talked about? It's like, do we want to do this or do we want to do something different? I mean, how much were you guys back and forth on that?
No, we were all in agreement, 100% to short pit. There was no question about it. I mean, it was a no-brainer to do it, but you do take a risk. And if that caution comes out, it kind of screws you, And but it and it did come out, and we were like, oh no, here we go. So, but yeah, we were all in it 100%. And I just told the guys, I said, man, y'all just, keep it cool, let's keep it clean, and let's get back to the front. It's not a problem. We got some laps. We can make it happen.
Yeah, and that you did. It was like I said, it was a hell of a job by you guys. And I mean, like I said, the strategy looked good. You never know how it was going to turn out, of course. But like I said, with the way things kind of went at the end, like I said, you got the wave around to get back on the lead lap. I mean, that was kind of a given with the yellow. That's like, well, they'll still get their lap back. And then then you were able to be in the right place at the right time and do some really good wreck avoidance as well there. So just also obviously a great way to kick off the playoffs as well to try to kind of maximize points. I know it's early, but I'm sure everybody's still peeking at them a little bit. So, yeah, great job tonight, man. Glad to have you back, and definitely want to give you the floor here. Any thanks and shouts for that podium tonight?
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, we were just trying to. We were really content with a fifth place finish there at the end, but once we saw that opening, we kind of went for it. But definitely got to get a huge shout out to you guys over at Green White Checkered TV. You guys have an incredible broadcast and do a great job up there. And I know you get stuck by yourself sometimes, Gael, but you still do a great job. I listened to the broadcast the whole time, so thank you for that. And huge shout out to 40 Racewear. This is awesome. They get to sponsor this, man. I hope I can win those gloves. Hopefully by the end of the season, I'll be able to win those shoes as well and give me a complete package. But I also want to give a huge shout out to the Highlighter Bros. I can't do it without the sponsorship and what they do behind the whole truck here. And last but not least, I can't thank Import Logic enough. They have come on board with us with this Toyota Tundra, and they have believed in us, and they have not given up. So if you guys are looking for somebody to make your vehicle the best it possibly is, look up Import Logic out of the Tyler, Texas area. I know that they would love to gain your business. And man, and I heard you mention Hondo earlier, but he wasn't gone. He was in my pit box. So definitely shout out to the best fuel man in the business, Hondo Longmire, because he was there, and he did one heck of a job out there in the pit road. So thanks again, guys. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to next week and looking to continue moving forward.
Yeah, hell of a job tonight, Jacob. Yeah, definitely really got to thank, like I said, got to thank the Import Logic performance. I said also, I say awesome hopping on with us as well to do the replays and everything too. And I got to say too, before I let you go though, it looked like you got some pretty good practice on those donuts because they were looking pretty tight there. That was a solid circle. So well done.
Yeah, I've won a few races in my day, so I know how to get these donuts in check. So yeah, I don't, if anybody wants some practice, just hit me up and I can show you how it's done. So
Great job tonight, man. I'd say definitely look forward to seeing you the rest of the playoffs, man. Good luck the rest of the way.
Cool. Appreciate you guys.
All right, that is going to jump things over to our runner up here tonight. And it's one of those ones where put himself exactly in the right spot and just it's a guessing game. Where do you go? Where do you put yourself to have your best chance to try to win this race? And it was good, Patrick, and then just you never know which lane's going to be the lane to go. And it looked like really out of four coming to the checker, just there's a little separation with you and Ryan, and that may have kind of did the momentum at the end. And I mean, of course, we do know the second lane usually has a big push at the end, but I mean, you and your brother had a pretty wild race. You guys were the few that really wanted to try to work that third line early, and nobody really felt comfortable, it seemed like, to go up there with you. And it didn't work out very well for you a good chunk of the time, but you also do wind up the highest climber, though, jumping 22 spots up into second. So maybe at least a little bit of a silver lining if you can. But I mean, just take us through the race, and I mean, take us through the strategy there at the end to figure out like where do you want to position your truck to try to win this thing.
Yeah. Atlanta, it's a little thinner than Daytona and Talladega, so that third line don't really work that well. But I think I made a couple passes. But other than that, trying to find the right lane, they seemed pretty equal. And I kind of just picked, I didn't want to, get in front of, well, I don't know. I probably should have. In hindsight, I probably should have got up in front of Richard. But, it is what it is. And second ain't bad.
No, especially, I mean, to kick off the playoffs. I mean, you want to try to get all the points you can. So I mean, you led laps, you got some bonus points there, and like I said, the highest climber should be another bonus point. And so I mean, there's lots of I mean, the thing is, it always comes down to those little things. And so, yeah, I mean, so there's always those ones. I haven't gone through it yet, but I'm doubtful anybody got a clean race tonight because it was wild this evening.
No, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there was a lot going on, and yeah, like I said, just you never know, and yeah, it's a risk versus reward where it's like, well, if I jump a lane to the outside, is he gonna then try to jump to the third lane? I lose all my draft because at a track like this, the yellow line is your friend, where it's like, hey, they can't go past there, so. I mean, was that kind of thought part of it too, where it's like, well, at least I know I've got that left side safe if I hold bottom.
Exactly. Yeah, that bottom, it's hard to beat that bottom. It's the safest route for sure. And that was actually my thinking is this is safe. If I get a good push and I win it, then uh, then it is. And I'd have to thank Ryan there, and I thank him either way. That was great pushing. It's just that outside had a little bit of momentum on the end, and good pushing. They were lined up pretty well. But yeah, that was a fun race and a good way to kick off the playoffs.
Yeah, no, it was definitely exciting, and I said, wait for everything to update. I believe you will formally now after tonight be second in points. Like I said, 4 out behind Rick, obviously with getting the win. So yeah, it's like I said, it's a great way to kick things off. So a really good job. Say before we let you go, definitely want to give you the floor for any thanks and shouts for that runner up, and I'll do a preemptive hint of certain people that watch you week in and week out. So floor is yours, sir.
Yes, sir. Thanks. Yeah, I want to thank the you guys for broadcasting here, and Area 51 is always a great host here, and all the drivers are awesome. Seth, my teammate, and Ryan, good pushing at the end. Thank everybody else, and good win to Richard, and shout out to my mom for always watching and supporting.
Yeah, I say she's probably the biggest supporter. I say if you guys are in the race, I see her. I think there's even a few times she's popped in and it's like, wait, where are they at? And it's like, I don't know. So, and she definitely, I told her to use some telepathy on Seth earlier because when he was the lucky dog spot, he was still being a little aggressive, and I told her, I was like, tell him to back it down a little bit because he
Yeah,
doesn't need to be, he doesn't need to be fighting like that right now. So.
yeah, right.
But no, you guys did a great job. Like I said, it was a difficult one for sure tonight, but looking forward to seeing you both of you the rest of the season. But yeah, great job tonight, Patrick.
Hey, appreciate it.
All right, so that leaves us one last driver to chat with, and I say he's had some pretty good support on the YouTube chat as well, and he's looking shiny and gold. And I mean, I'll say it's getting close to Olympics, and usually gold means first, Rick, and you put that to action here tonight. I mean, it was eventful. I mean, you started up front and you were up front a lot, but then the pit stop strategy was kind of that risk versus reward, which unfortunately the risk kind of took over. But then the lucky dog happened, or sorry, the wave round happened. I should say. You get back on the lead lap with all those guys, and I mean, how up and down stressful was tonight to try to figure out where to position yourself, win, and all that stuff this evening.
Yeah, well, I started off. I said I'm gonna stay up front, and run up front. Try to stay out of trouble, which for the most part I did. And the first part was, I think Eric followed the lead car down in front of me and got into my door, and we recovered for that. Had good pit stops, came out good, and then we pitted first, right? And then we got caught a lap down because of yellow. And so I had to start at the back, and I was picked and choosed our way through ended up front, and we did a repeat last time with Jacob there. Couldn't believe it.
Yeah, as I say, you've had. I'll say, I'm sure there's times too where I mean, obviously you got to put yourself in the right position, but yeah, when you find a good pusher that you can trust and everything like that, that definitely goes a long ways as well. And yeah, I say Charles, as I want to say that's your dad. I say he's spot on.
That's
I
my
say,
brother.
oh, it's your brother. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
He's spot on. I mean, obviously, it takes a talent to do this stuff in general, but it does seem like Atlanta is definitely a little bit more in your wheelhouse. I feel like because I feel like this has been probably one of the tracks that you've won at the most here with Area 51. Is this one that
Yeah.
you kind of
Five,
you like?
5 wins and 4 different vehicles.
Well, there you go. So you got 5 for the number 5 tonight. But is this one that you kind of marked? Or it's like, all right, I know this is like I can do the most damage here, kind of a thing. Or I mean, what was the thought process going into tonight with the playoffs?
But yeah, obviously, like Atlanta when you've had 4 wins there before. So coming in and I saw it was Atlanta, I was, oh yeah, hot Atlanta, let's go. I can run good there anyway if I stay out of trouble. And there at the end, I'd settled to say I'm going to push Patrick to the win. I was good there, but then I don't know what big checkup down in the bottom. We both got to the bottom, and I was still going to stay there, but I looked in the mirror and saw Jacob up top, and I told him I'm coming back up, and it worked out. So.
No, it was, yeah. I mean, you did an awesome job, and that's the thing. You had to make the right moves at the right times, and the other thing I want to ask you about before we get to your shoutouts though is the pit strategy is 4 tires, 2 tires, fuel only. Like, I mean, we saw a few times where trucks just they snapped on their own. It looked like on 2 tires after a pit stop and then kind of towards the midst of the longer run on the second run. Was that something you were kind of watching, like, hey, should I be taking 2? Should I be taking 4? Was there any kind of concern of which strategy was the way to go for you, or did you kind of already have that in the back of your mind from kind of even before the race kicked off?
I started off thinking, okay, 4 tires, especially from experience with the Xfinities. They obviously very loose last time we run them, and they only took 2 tires. So I was thinking 4 tires, and we did a stop, I think, and we didn't take. I think we were only 8 laps in first stop or something. I can't remember. And I said, well, just top off, no tires, and see what the tires are. And they were still in the 99%. So I said, okay, it's not eating up tires real bad. So on the green, I said, let's just take left sides. I've heard right sides that it's looser for the first couple laps till they come back in. So just stay with left, more reliable. And then I think we got another yellow, and so we could change the right sides then to even it up. And there at the end, I just took lefts, and it was stable to me the whole time. So
Yeah. So well, I'd say for those that are spying in there, that totally wasn't the right thing. He didn't give any secrets away or anything like that. But no. It was like I said, it was a hell of a job tonight, man. I was saying you had some awesome support as well. So I say, like I said, brother was here. I want to say mom, and then there's one more. I gotta learn who's who. But so you've got a couple on there.
Belva is mom.
And then
Charles is my brother, and Netsby is my wife.
All right. Well, I said that's some awesome support there from brother, mom, and wife. So yeah. So hint, hint. But I'll say we'll lead you in here now perfectly into your thanks and shouts for getting that win to kick off the playoffs, and then yeah. So the floor is yours, sir.
Yeah. Okay. First off, family for supporting me. Everybody, mom, brother, wife. Shout out to Area 51. Awesome league. Always have good races here. Shout out to Green White Checkered. Always putting on a great broadcast. Love you having you in the booth. Shout out to Jacob for putting on a hell of a push there. We did a deja vu repeat, and I owe him a couple wins. So if I can ever get him in front of me and me behind him, he'll get one if I can help it. And shout out to all the drivers for putting on a good show for everybody.
Wow, well, great job tonight, Rick. I'll drag you back over to Jacob so you guys can chat and debrief. And like I said, go enjoy this one. I think we got a break after tonight for Easter Sunday, so you get a little bit extra time to enjoy the win and prep for next week or in 2 weeks, I should say, at Daytona, if my math is correct. Yep, Daytona. Before we get to those final 2 right afterwards. So go enjoy this one, Rick, and great job tonight, man.
Thanks, buddy. Have a good one.
All right, so that is our race winner in that number 5 machine of Rick Sanchez. And so before we go anywhere else, though, we got to pull up our final results to have a chat to see where your favorite drivers were at. And as I say, again, it was a wild one this evening, so you see the results there. Richard Sanchez, Patrick Groover, Jacob Lee, the top 3. Then Ryan Decker, Corey Buskirk, our top 5. And Cody Nagels recovering all the way back up to 6th, so great job by him. Bud Steele, 7th. And Jason Bogart, Jack Walls, Brian Wang rounding out our top 10. And then Ambrose Nabel, Brandon Briggs, Seth Gruber, Vicente Guerrero, Eric Laurie, and Gabe Butler. Let's say it was a tough night for Gabe all around this evening, unfortunately. But again, still 3 races to go. And then those drivers trapped a lap or more down, including the 53 of Quavi Brooks and 17th, Bob Fitzgerald there, 2 down. And then from here, these guys like I said, some guys had a bad night. Jim Brooks, let's say things kind of went wrong from that strategy to stay out the lap and then pit. That kind of then gave him that 1 lap down, and then it kind of went wrong from there. Todd Merkel, Jeremy Osborne, unfortunately, and then unfortunately some early retirements for for Nick Wing there in the 28 truck. It was a tough night. Unfortunately, Raymond didn't make it here tonight, but definitely looking forward to seeing him in the future. So yeah, so that's race 1 in the books. Again, 3 more races to go, and then we will start race number 1 of the playoffs on Thursday night for the Xfinity Series. And then, but before we get to that, though, Tuesday night we have the Area 51 Dark Horse Series, and we will be at Las Vegas Motor Speedway for that one there. And then we got our April Fool race there at Texas, followed by Loudoun, New Hampshire, and then finishing that one off at Indy. So those are remaining on the open wheel side of things. So as always, really appreciate it. I loved all the interaction here tonight. You guys were awesome in the chat. So thank you all so much for watching, for supporting us here at Green White Checkered TV. A reminder, at the end of the season, the season finale races at Talladega and at Indianapolis. After the race, we'll be doing the random draw for the gloves from 4D Racewear for drivers that attended 10 or more of the 12 races. So definitely, you can definitely hop around there, especially if you're a driver as well. Definitely stay tuned for those as well. So for myself, Kyle Brooks, appreciate you all being a part of this one. I say Matt hopped in late. Matt, love you. I look forward to see you on track on Tuesday. And then for everybody else, have a wonderful evening, and we will chat soon. And Boomer Logan will be calling the shots here on Thursday night back at Atlanta. So until then, take care, stay safe, have a good night, and we'll see you all on Tuesday. Take care.